Part 13. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Taido. Chapter 121. You go over there, I can be alone. I will communicate with you if anything happens. Li Hao said to Master Sanyang again. It's better to keep a low profile. Master Sanyang is a monk. Standing together is so eye-catching that he has attracted the attention of many people. Master Sanyang nodded and walked straight in the direction of Zhou Junja. Senior Sanyang, where did you go? I thought you didn't come in. Master Sanyang approached, and Zhou Junja said immediately. I met a junior on the street and chatted for a while. Master Sanyang said calmly. Come on, Senior Sanyang, let me introduce you. This is Yang Liyuan from the Yang family in the Demon City, and is also a member of the East Demon Guards. This is Miss Yang Tingting. Zhou Junja immediately introduced him to Master Sanyang again. At this time, Yang Liyuan and others from the Yang family in front heard Zhou Junja's voice and turned their attention to Master Sanyang. Yang Liyuan's expression changed slightly. Nephew Zhou, who is this? As an innate warrior, Yang Liyuan naturally felt the transcendent temperament of Master Sanyang. Huge waves appeared in his eyes and he asked immediately. Master Sanyang of Lejun Mountain, a true Taoist master. Zhou Junja said directly again. Dad, it was him who protected the guy who stole my hosta. Beside him, Yang Tingting's expression became a little unnatural. She pointed at Master Sanyang's face and said angrily. When Yang Liyuan heard his daughter's words, his expression became tense again, his brows instantly furrowed, and his heart jumped suddenly. He saw a sharp edge bursting out from the eyes of Master Sanyang in front of him. Yang Liyuan secretly said something bad. Shut up. Yang Liyuan angrily scolded Yang Tingting directly, and then looked at Master Sanyang with an apologetic look on his face. I'm sorry, Master. My little girl is ignorant, please forgive me. Of course I won't argue with a little woman. Master Sanyang said calmly again. Senior Sanyang? What's going on? When Zhou Junja saw this scene, he was a little confused. My junior had some misunderstandings with this Miss Yang because of shopping. Master Sanyang said briefly without going into details. Zhou Junja didn't ask any more questions. The other side. Li Hao just found a seat and sat down. Brother Li Hao, I didn't expect you to be here. But at this moment, several figures came to Li Hao's side, and the leader said to Li Hao. Envoy Long Shen. Li Hao also looked at Long's Himing in front of him. If you don't mind, just call me Uncle Long. You are my eldest brother's benefactor. Long's Himing said with a smile. Okay. Li Hao was stunned but did not refuse. Regarding this Long's Himing, Li Hao felt that he was pretty good. Long's Himing and his men found an empty seat and sat down directly next to Li Hao. Another moment passed. A woman wearing a cheongsam walked onto the stage with a microphone. This woman is tall, with long black hair, and delicate appearance. She looks like she is in her 30s. She exudes a charming charm. As soon as she comes on stage, she makes everyone's eyes light up and makes everyone excited. Mesmerized. Dear bosses, distinguished guests, dear friends, distinguished guests, welcome to the Ancient City Auction House. I am Luo Li, the host of today's auction. This beautiful supporter is amazing. Don't underestimate this beautiful host. If you heard me correctly, this woman is the talker of this auction house. She takes care of everything in the auction house. There are people behind this Ancient City Auction House. Luo Li also caused quite a shock when she appeared on the stage. I believe everyone is impatient to wait. I won't say much and will just start today's auction. As Luo Li finished speaking, the auction began directly. Let's take out the first lot. At this time, two people came up pushing a booth. On top of the booth, there was actually a statue of Guanyin. This statue of Guanyin has a unique image. It is a gilt bronze standing statue of Guanyin with lotus hands. This statue is dressed like a prince, wearing a necklace and crown, holding a lotus, which symbolizes purity and noble spirit. It is backlit by flames. It stands majestically and has orderly pleats on its skirt. The charm is vivid. And looking at the mountains, they are very old. This is a Guanyin statue from the Northern Wei dynasty. The starting price is 5 million. Each increase in price will be at least 50,000. Things that can be put up for auction must have been authenticated by experts and will definitely not be fakes. Suddenly, someone raised a sign. 5 million times. Luo Li said immediately. 5,100,000. At this time, someone else raised a sign and quoted 5.1 million. 5 million and 1 million times. 5 million and 1 million twice. 5,100,000 three times. Deal. This gilt bronze standing statue of Guanyin with lotus hands was photographed within 2 minutes of taking it out. This is just an appetizer and many people are not very interested. Below, is the second lot. Soon, the gilt bronze standing statue of Guanyin with lotus hands was pushed down, and what was picked up again was a bronze mirror. This is a bronze mirror used by a noblewoman in the Tang dynasty. The starting price is 500,000, and the bid will be increased by at least 10,000 each time. As Luo Li's voice sounded again and again, antiques were brought up for auction. However, the atmosphere was still a little quiet. Many people were waiting, and the highlight was to come. I don't know when. A woman in a dress came on stage with a tray covered with a red cloth. This is an ancient brush. The specific age is unknown, at least more than 500 years old, and it is very well preserved. The starting price is 500,000, and the bid will be increased by at least 10,000 each time. Luo Li's voice said again. The red cloth on the tray was pulled open. This is a black brush with special patterns on the pen holder. It looks a bit old and ordinary. But at this moment, Li Hao's eyes suddenly lit up again. At this moment, a big red exclamation mark appeared in front of Li Hao. This exclamation mark happened to be on this brush. The prompt message came again. Today is a really good day, the second tip. It seems that it is the right time to come here today. Li Hao did not hesitate. He directly clicked the exclamation mark on the brush. The phone notification sound rang again. It was the sound of deduction. This is an unusual brush, you must not miss it if you want to get more tips, please click downward arrow. Isn't this nonsense? There are already tips, it must be unusual, what else do you need to say? Li Hao was speechless and directly clicked the arrow again. Suddenly, more information came. This pen, the real name is the judge's pen, is a top-grade magic weapon, currently in a sealed state. Seeing this tip, Li Hao was suddenly shocked. It turned out to be a magic weapon? It is a top-grade magic weapon. It's just that it is sealed. God-level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 122. Magic weapons are divided into low grade, medium grade, high grade, and the most powerful extreme grade. Each magic weapon is very unusual and has special abilities. Some can protect the body, some can prolong life, some can be immune to all diseases, and some can exorcise evil spirits. Some magic weapons can directly improve the combat effectiveness of the cultivators. Li Hao did not expect that the pen on the stage was actually an extreme magic weapon, called the judge's pen. It's just that it is a sealed magic weapon. This is the system prompt, and it must be correct. Li Hao's heart was full of waves, and he couldn't help being excited. Moreover, it's only 500,000. This is the price of an ordinary antique. Obviously, even the auction house didn't know that this was a magic weapon. If it knew, it would not be surprising that this thing would start at hundreds of millions. Magic weapons are real treasures, and they can't even be measured by ordinary money. As Luo Li on the stage finished speaking, a local tyrant still raised a sign. 510,000. This local tyrant directly quoted the price. But just as he put down his sign, someone else raised his sign. 520,000. The local tyrant was very calm, and raised his sign again and shouted. 530,000. 550,000. 600,000. There were too many rich people in the field, and hundreds of thousands were really a piece of cake for them. Many people immediately bid and wanted to get this antique brush. A few minutes later, the price of this brush had been auctioned to 1 million. Some people gave up one after another. It was just an antique brush, and no one knew what era it was from. The price of 1 million was already very high. Of course, there were also people who didn't care about this little money at all, just liked it, and still bid. 1,200,000. Seeing this scene, Luo Li smiled, and this was the effect she wanted. The higher the auction price, the more money the auction house would make, and she would get more rewards. She would get a commission for every item auctioned. Anyone else bid? 1,200,000 once. 1,200,000 twice. 1,200,000. When Luo Li, the righteous one, was about to knock down the hammer for the third time, someone else raised a sign. 1,300,000. For a moment, everyone's eyes fell on a man in a Taoist robe, and a look of surprise appeared on their faces. The person who spoke was none other than Sanyang Genren. And Sanyang Genren directly added 100,000. This was naturally what Li Hao asked Sanyang Genren to do. Li Hao must get this pen. Now, the time is almost up, so Li Hao directly sent a soul message to Sanyang Genren, asking Sanyang Genren to bid for it. When Sanyang Genren made an offer, the faces of several people who were still bidding just now changed suddenly, and they obviously recognized Sanyang Genren's identity. This is a cultivator, a foundation-building strongman. If you compete with the other party for this antique and offend the other party, it is not a wise choice. So, many people gave up immediately. However, the middle-aged man who had just offered 1.2 million frowned when he saw this scene, but he didn't know Sanyang Genren. His wife's family is a scholarly family, and the father-in-law likes things like the four treasures of the study very much. In addition, it will be his father-in-law's birthday in a few days. If he can get this antique pen and give it to his father-in-law, then the father-in-law will definitely like it very much. At that time, the father-in-law will be happy and give him some company shares or 1 or 2 buildings. Wouldn't it be great? So, this middle-aged man wants to buy this brush, and 1 or 2 million is a piece of cake. He doesn't lack this little money. So, the middle-aged man raised the sign in his hand again. 1,400,000. He added another 100,000. Luo Li was stunned when she heard the middle-aged man's offer again. This guy is really brave. Doesn't he know the other party's identity? Luo Li knew the identities of the people sitting in the audience, and naturally knew that the man in the Taoist robe was a cultivator, and the only one in the audience. The strong foundation builders were real big shots, and there were only a handful of them in the entire Dawa country. Such people must not be offended unless it is absolutely necessary. 1,400,000 at a time. Luo Li said directly. At this time, True Man Sanyang also looked at the middle-aged man opposite him, and the middle-aged man just looked at him. Master. I am Yang Taiping from the Song family in Shuxi. My father-in-law likes this pen very much. My father-in-law is Song Qiansheng of Qiansheng Group. Can you give me this pen? Thank you very much. The middle-aged man said to True Man Sanyang, and directly reported his own name and his father-in-law's name, hoping that the other party would give him this pen for the sake of Qiansheng Group. Song Qiansheng of Qiansheng Group? Sorry, I haven't heard of him. Even if I give it to you, are you sure you can hold on to it? However, when Sanyang Genren heard what Yang Taiping said, his face froze and he spoke to Yang Taiping in a deep voice. A strong aura emanated involuntarily. At this moment, the faces of all the people present suddenly changed. Most of the people present were warriors, but they felt a pressure coming down on them, and they felt like they couldn't breathe. Do you know who he is? How dare you talk to him like this? Isn't this looking for death? How dare you snatch things from a cultivator? Isn't this like shining a flashlight in a toilet? Don't you even know Sanyang Genren? Where did you get the courage? Did Liang Jingru give it to you? Voices came from beside Yang Tianping. Yang Taiping's face suddenly changed at this moment, and he was extremely shocked. Cultivator. The other party was actually a cultivator. Damn it, he just asked the other party to give it to him. Isn't this looking for death? Yang Taiping's face became extremely ugly, and the other party was obviously angry with his words. A strong pressure came down on him. He felt that his whole body was about to explode, and his face was flushed. His life was in the other party's thoughts. It was too scary. No, 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 I don't want it. Since the real person likes this antique brush, I will give it to the real person. I will pay for the brush. Yang Tianping was also a man who had seen the world and was very smart. He immediately spoke out and made a decision. That is, he would pay for the brush and give it to the other party. He would not offend the other party, but also buy a good thing and make friends with him. When Yang Taiping said this, the real person Sanyang was also stunned. This guy is really smart. But since the other party wants to pay, why not do it? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 123. Li Hao had not expected this either. This pen could actually be obtained without spending any money, and a smile appeared on his face. Soon. 1,400,000 twice. 1,400,000 three times. Bang. 1,400,000, deal. When the hammer in Luo Li's hand fell. This pen was sold for 1,400,000, and it was bought by this man named Yang Taiping. Sanyang Genren did not raise the price again. Since the other party said that he would give it to him, there was no need for Sanyang Genren to raise the price. And the other party would definitely not run away with this pen, unless he didn't want to live. A reminder, during the auction, in addition to the offer, please do not say anything unrelated to the bidding. Luo Li would like to thank everyone for their cooperation. At this time, Luo Li on the stage said again. The people below the stage are all big guys. If you say one thing, I say another, or threaten each other like just now, it will not be good. Not only will the price of the auction item not go up, it may also cause some chaos at the scene. So, in order to continue the auction, Luo Li reminded everyone. Come on, please bring up our next item. This kind of thing should be something that many people like. Luo Li's voice fell. A staff member came up again with a pair of white gloves and a jade bottle in his hand. This is a bottle of body-quenching spirit liquid. Needless to say, it is effective. I believe many people here have used it. I will not elaborate on it. Let's start directly. The starting price is 10 million, and each bid must not be less than 500,000. Luo Li said directly again. What, body-quenching spirit liquid? This is a good thing. 10,000, the price is not high. I must get it. As soon as Lo Li's voice fell, the people in the field made surprised sounds, and their eyes stared at the jade bottle on the stage, as if they were determined to get it. 10.5 million. 11 million. 12 million. 15 million. 18 million. These people raised their signs almost at the same time and bid continuously. In just a few minutes, the price of this bottle of body-quenching spirit liquid was called up to 50 million. It was terrifying. And even if it reached 50 million, these people still had no intention of giving up. Intense. The scene was really intense. Li Hao noticed that almost many people had bid, including Longsheiming, the Southwest Garrison Army next to him. A few minutes passed. The bid for this bottle of body-tempering spiritual liquid had reached 80 million, which was much higher than the price it should be worth. Although this body-tempering spiritual liquid was difficult to obtain, it was not without channels, but it was relatively rare. If you had some connections, you might be able to get it for 50 or 60 million. So, many people began to give up. 87 million for the first time. 87 million for the second time. Is there anyone else who wants to bid? If not, Lo Li's voice said again, with a touch of joy in her voice. 87 million, a bottle of body-tempering spiritual liquid was actually sold at such a high price, which was also beyond her expectations. After this auction, she could make a lot of money. 88 million. In the end, a big guy offered a high price of 88 million. 87 million for the first time. 87 million for the second time. 88 million for the third time. Bang. Deal. As Lo Li's hammer came down. Finally, this bottle of body-tempering spirit liquid was bought by a big shot at 88 million. Next. Some good things were brought up for auction one after another, including antiques and a Buddhist bead that was said to have been blessed by a master. However, in Li Hao's eyes, it was just a bead with a touch of mental power, which had some health-preserving and refreshing effects, and was not even considered a magic weapon. It was sold for tens of millions. Why can't you pay it back? Didn't you say there was a foundation-building pill? Hurry up. Will it be gone? How could it be possible? Everyone came here for the foundation-building pill. As the auction progressed, some rustling sounds gradually came out from the crowd. Obviously, some people can't wait any longer, because the main event hasn't come yet. Lo Li heard these voices and looked at this scene, and her heart moved. It's almost time. It seems that everyone can't help it. Ha ha. Lo Li laughed again and continued. It doesn't matter. The final treasure will come soon. Come on, bring the final treasure up. As Lo Li's voice fell, another staff member came up with a tray. On the tray, there was another jade bottle, and the bottle mouth was tightly plugged. The next moment, Lo Li took the jade bottle directly, then pulled out the stopper and poured it on the tray covered with red cloth. Suddenly, an oval and dark pill rolled out. There was no pattern on this pill, it looked a little rough, looked very ordinary, and even had a little gap. But at the moment when this pill was poured out, everyone present was suddenly shocked. Because at this moment, there is a fragrance emanating from this pill, and it is this fragrance that makes everyone feel refreshed. This pill contains a ray of spiritual power. Is this the foundation building pill? Good stuff, really good stuff. It seems to be a little different from the record. It should be correct. Shocked voices came out from these people, and pairs of eyes stared at the black pill on the stage, with a touch of heat in their eyes. Everyone came for this thing. Li Hao also looked at this foundation building pill, his eyes slightly condensed. The foundation building pill in front of him was far worse than the one rewarded by the system before. Not to mention that there was no pill pattern, the spiritual power contained in this foundation building pill was not very strong. Although it was taken out, the fragrance was overflowing, but the fragrance of the pill almost lost the effect of this foundation building pill. Semi-finished product. Li Hao could tell at a glance that this thing was a semi-finished product. If he had the materials, he would never refine it into this shape. Li Hao is a person who knows the art of alchemy, and is a true alchemy master. Yes, this is the foundation building pill. Although this foundation building pill is a little broken, it can still have the miraculous effect of allowing a warrior to break through and become a cultivator. Opportunities are rare and will never come again. The opportunity is right in front of you. What are you waiting for? Let's start. The starting price is 100 million, and each bid must not be less than 10 million. As Luo Li's voice fell, the entire auction instantly boiled. 110 million. 120 million. 150 million. The price of this foundation building pill soared. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 124. As soon as this foundation building pill came out, everyone in the audience couldn't hold back and started bidding. After a while, the price of this foundation building pill had been auctioned to 300 million. A full 300 million, and it was still rising. A foundation building pill has a great chance of allowing an innate warrior to break through to a cultivator and become a foundation building strongman. Although this is only a certain probability, as long as there is a little chance, these people will not give up. Almost everyone came for this foundation building pill and came prepared. After a while, the price of this foundation building pill has been auctioned to 1 billion. Sky high price. It's really a sky high price. Li Hao was also shocked. A semi-finished foundation building pill could be auctioned at such a price. What if it was a finished product? The foundation building pill he had eaten before was a perfect finished product. In other words, he ate more than 1 billion in one bite. If he could refine it in the future and sell it, wouldn't he be rich? 1 billion and 50 million for the first time. Luo Li's voice came out again. Someone has already offered a price of 1 billion and 50 million, and the person who made the offer is none other than Zhou Junjie, a member of the Zhou family in Jinghua. But at this moment, I'll offer 1.1 billion. Sorry, Mr. Zhou, I'm determined to get this foundation building pill. Another voice came, quoting a high price of 1.1 billion, and raising the price by another 50 million. The person who spoke was actually Longsheng, the richest man in Zishan and the boss of Longsheng Mining. At this moment, he bid without caring who the other party was. In short, he was determined to get this foundation building pill. This Longsheng knew Zhou Junjie, and he also knew that Zhou Junjie was from the Zhou family in Jinghua, with a strong background, and almost no one dared to provoke him, including him, but in order to get this foundation building pill, he didn't care so much. Moreover, he himself is also an innate warrior. As long as he gets this foundation building pill, he will have a great chance of becoming a foundation building cultivator. At that time, he will no longer be afraid of anyone. With his wealth, he can even make his family take a step forward and become a big family like the 8 major families in Beijing. When everyone heard Longsheng's voice, their faces changed again, and there was a hint of unkindness in their eyes. 1.11 billion. However, another voice sounded. The person who spoke was Longshiming next to Li Hao. Longshiming's face was firm. Li Hao also looked at Longshiming in surprise. This guy, a garrison, has so much money. 1.11 billion for the first time. Is there anyone else? Luo Li shouted excitedly again. This price has already met her expectations, but every time it goes up, she can get more money. 1.2 billion. But at this time, Longsheng's voice shouted again, completely looking rich and powerful, and he actually shouted 1.2 billion directly, raising the price by 90 million again. At this moment, all eyes were focused on Long Sheng. But that Long Sheng looked like a piece of meat on a rolling knife, and he didn't care at all. I don't have much, but I have a lot of money. I lack everything, but you don't lack money. Long Sheng said with a smile, his voice was full of incomparable pride, he was really rich. The high price of 1.2 billion has deterred many people, and it has exceeded the limit of many people's tolerance. Li Hao saw that Long's Himing beside him also sighed, as if he had given up. 1.2 billion and 10 million. Another voice rang out, and the person who spoke was the man who had snatched the pen from Sanyang Jinren before, Yang Taiping of Qiansheng Group, the son-in-law of the Song family. Not more, not less, this Yang Taiping only raised 10 million. He had never made an offer before, but at this moment he finally made a move, and he also looked calm and calm. Generous. Really generous. 1.210 billion. Anyone else want to bid? Hurry up. No more? 1.210 billion. Just when Luo Li's voice was about to fall. 1.250 billion. Zhou Junji's voice came again, and a sharp look flashed in Zhou Junji's eyes. As the eldest son of the Zhou family, he was also very wealthy, but the high price of 1.250 billion at this moment was beyond his expectation. But he was determined to get this foundation building pill. There was no foundation building pill on the market now, and the formula of the foundation building pill had long been lost, so he wanted to get this foundation building pill and then take it back to the Zhou family to study it carefully. Although they had studied it before and failed many times, as long as they succeeded once, it would be fine. As long as they succeeded, he would be a hero of the Zhou family, and then the family's industry would belong to him, Zhou Junja. Okay. Mr. Zhou from Jinghua, offer 1.25 billion, is there anyone else who wants to bid? When Luo Li heard Zhou Junja's voice, a bright smile appeared on her face. But at this time, I only heard Zhou Junja speak directly again. Please give me some face and let me have this foundation building pill. I owe you a favor. Zhou Junja's voice was naturally directed to Yang Taiping and Long Sheng. At the moment, only two people have the financial resources to compete with him. I'm sorry, this foundation building pill is very important to me. No matter how high the price is, I will get it. And now it's an auction, naturally the one with the highest bid will win, you better not argue with me. Long Sheng said lightly. 1.3 billion. Long Sheng quoted another shocking price. Zhou Junja's face suddenly became very ugly, and he didn't even give him face. Very good. A cold edge flashed in Zhou Junja's eyes, and his cold voice spread. But he didn't bid again. If he continued, he couldn't compete with the other party with his funds. It's really a toast and then a penalty. Zhou Junja muttered. It seems that we can only wait until the end. There is another way to get this foundation building pill, and it doesn't even cost money. Zhou Junja has made a decision in his heart. No one can take away what he likes. After Zhou Junja gave up bidding, only Long Sheng and Yang Taiping were left bidding at the scene. 1.65 billion for the first time. Is there anyone else who wants to bid? 1.65 billion for the second time. This is the last chance. Is there anyone else who wants to bid? Opportunities are rare and will never come back. 1.65 billion for the third time. Luo Li's voice kept ringing. Bang. The hammer in Luo Li's hand finally fell. The final word. In the end, this semi-finished foundation building pill was snatched away by Long Sheng, the richest man in Zishan, at a sky-high price of 1.65 billion. God-level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 125. This auction ends here. As the final foundation establishment pill was successfully sold, Luo Li directly announced the end of the auction. There was only one foundation establishment pill, and most people let out a long sigh. There were even many people with a gloomy look in their eyes and some thoughts in their hearts. At this auction, money is king. But in the auction, you have to rely on strength. Without strength, even if you take the foundation establishment pill, you may not be able to keep it. Li Hao watched the whole show just like a bystander, but he didn't take it back completely. The judge's pen was Li Hao's harvest. One after another, figures stood up, walked outside, and dispersed. But some people stayed. And those who stayed behind were taken to the backstage to pay, paying with one hand and delivering the goods with the other. Li Hao also walked out directly with Long's Himing beside him. He just needs to go out and wait. Someone will hand over the judge's pen to him. The entire island in the middle of the lake is within Li Hao's perception, and there will be no accidents. Get out of this building. Li Hao saw that many figures did not stop at all and took boats to the other side. Soon, Li Hao saw that Zhou Junjie from the Zhou family also followed him out, followed by many people. The man from the Yang family in the Demon City, Yang Tingting, and others were all following Zhou Junjie. When Yang Tingting saw Li Hao, she glared at Li Hao again with murderous eyes and walked past with a look of pride on her face. Zhou Junjie glanced at Li Hao indifferently. When he saw that Li Hao was with the Southwest Guards, a strange look flashed across his face, but he didn't say anything and just led the people away. Boy Li, it's time for us to go back. Although we didn't get this foundation establishment pill, it's a blessing to meet you. Come and play with our garrison when you have time. The door of our Southwest garrison is always open for you. Long's Himing said to Li Hao again. Yeah. Uncle Long, walk slowly. Li Hao said with a smile and watched Long's Himing leave with his men. Finally, Li Hao waited for a while. The figure of Master Sanyang appeared. Did you get it? Li Hao asked directly to Master Sanyang. Master Sanyang nodded to Li Hao, and without anyone noticing, he handed the brush directly to Li Hao. Li Hao put it away directly, with a smile on his face. Ding dong, congratulations to the host, you have obtained a sealed judge pen, and will be rewarded with the method of unsealing it, opening up the world of the system. At this moment, the system prompt sounded suddenly in Li Hao's mind, which shocked Li Hao's whole body. This is the reward. Corresponds to the reward indicated on the judge's pen before. How to unblock. System world? Damn it! Li Hao couldn't help but said another Chinese quintessence, and he was so excited. The method of unsealing is easy to understand. There is a seal on this pen, and the method of directly unsealing the system reward is reasonable, but what is the system world? Suddenly, a message poured into Li Hao's mind, which was about this method of unblocking. But what Li Hao didn't expect was that in order to unlock the seal on the judge's pen, he would have to develop spiritual consciousness. Doesn't that mean he has to reach the state of divine connection? The state of spiritual communication is the true state of spiritual communication, and it is also the state of the master. Only when you reach the state can you transform your perception into spiritual consciousness. Divine consciousness is actually a transformation of the soul's perception. Once divine consciousness emerges, one can even know what is happening there across thousands of miles. At the same time, in Li Hao's mind, there was an additional button for System World on the system interface. There is a prompt on the button, click to enter the system world. Li Hao's heart moved and he couldn't help but click. The next moment, something happened that shocked Master Sanyang. Li Hao, who was still in front of him just now, suddenly disappeared without a trace. Huh? Teleport. Master Sanyang looked at the scene with horror in his eyes. Looking at the empty space in front of him, he felt a turmoil in his heart. How could Li Hao disappear under his nose? Is this the legendary teleportation? Master Sanyang knows that when a monk reaches the extreme level of cultivation and understands the power of the rules of heaven and earth, he can travel through space, that is, teleport directly. But that requires psychic powers. Even he can only walk on the wind. He absolutely cannot do this kind of thing like disappearing on the spot. Could it be that this guy is not in the Foundation establishment realm, but a powerful master in the realm of divine connection? How is this possible? Master Sanyang couldn't believe it, his head was buzzing, and he was even more doubtful. What if it wasn't teleportation? Of course, Li Hao didn't teleport, he just entered an independent space. This space seems to be very large, with no edges visible, the vast sky, the vast earth, and everything in it, as if there is nothing. There was no vitality at all, giving Li Hao a strange feeling like chaos and nothingness. But Li Hao was extremely shocked. Is this the system world? It's really a world. Damn it, the system is too awesome. Soon, Li Hao thought and left this world again, because there was nothing in it and it was very uncomfortable to stay there. The next moment, Li Hao's figure appeared again, still in the same position just now, emerging out of thin air. In front of him, Sanyang Genren was directly shocked again, and even burst into swear words. This guy actually appeared out of thin air and teleported back. You are a master of the realm of the gods. Sanyang Genren stared at Li Hao in amazement, muttering with his mouth wide open. Li Hao was stunned when he heard what Sanyang Genren said, and said speechlessly. Think too much. Master. How is it possible? I also want to be a master, but unfortunately it's not. It was at this time. Around, a lot of eyes also stared at Li Hao blankly, as if seeing a ghost. Did this guy just suddenly disappear? Now he suddenly appeared again? Could it be that they were dazzled? But many people saw it. Li Hao felt the strange eyes of the people around him, and his heart was speechless again. He really didn't think so much just now. I saw that Li Hao's face suddenly became excited, looking at Sanyang Genren and exclaimed. As expected of you, you are the true man Sanyang. Your illusion is too awesome. Then, Li Hao smiled and said to the people around him. Ha ha ha, friends, did I disappear just now? You can't see me, right? Hearing this, everyone suddenly realized. It turned out to be an illusion. They thought this guy disappeared. It's normal to think so. True man Sanyang is a foundation building cultivator. It's just a small illusion. Illusion. True man Sanyang had a black line on his face and was speechless. A faint smile appeared on Li Hao's face. I am really as smart as me. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 126. Sanyang Genren had a dark face. This guy actually said it was his illusion, he didn't even move. But Sanyang Genren didn't say much, he knew Li Hao was hiding his abilities, this guy must have some secrets. However, this was not something he could ask casually. Li Hao was a genuine cultivator, his cultivation level was even stronger than his, even he couldn't see through it, it was normal for him to have secrets. And he just had to do his role as a servant, even the soul contract was signed, there was no way to resist, he could only accept it. The more secrets Li Hao had, the more it showed that this guy was extraordinary, and it also showed that Li Hao had unlimited potential, and it was unpredictable what height he could reach in the future. Perhaps this was also his opportunity, an opportunity to hug thighs. Sanyang Genren didn't ask. The two of them took the boat directly to the other side of the lake. On the other side, a graceful female anchor was holding a selfie stick and broadcasting live to everyone. This female anchor was beautiful, with a curvy figure and quite temperament. Li Xiaoqian didn't have class today, and she came to Kailan Ancient Town to broadcast live. Kailan Ancient Town is a place that many internet celebrities often visit. Today, many anchors came to Kailan Ancient Town, because many big guys gathered here today, as if they were coming for an auction. But they couldn't get to the Lake Island, and the people from the ancient city law enforcement team stopped them directly. There were also anchors who wanted to sneak into the island and the auction, but they ended up miserably. Li Xiaoqian also heard about what happened in Kailan Ancient Town today from her anchor friends, and came here specially. She came alone. Her bestie didn't come. She came in the afternoon and drove a Mercedes-Benz C260. She bought it with the money she earned from live streaming. Since she connected with the MP kid last time and got him, she became popular. And the big brother Harun Genki gave her 100 carnivals. While shocking the entire platform, she got a generous reward directly. Even the number of fans skyrocketed. With the money she saved before, she could afford this small Mercedes-Benz. In Li Xiaoqian's opinion, this car was given to her by the big brother who was Harun Genki. Li Xiaoqian was grateful to this big brother, but she was also curious about what kind of person he was. At that time, Li Xiaoqian was flattered and thought that the other party must have taken a fancy to her. Maybe he would send her a private message, ask for WeChat or other contact information, because she had nothing else to gain from him except that she looked better, had a better figure and was very young. However, just when Li Xiaoqian was struggling with whether to give this big brother a chance to have a deep communication, this big brother disappeared and never appeared again. He came like the wind, rewarded her with 100 carnivals, and left like the wind again without saying a word. What is this? She also followed the other party. Now Li Xiaoqian's number of fans has reached 800,000, which can be regarded as a certain foundation. In the afternoon, she basically broadcast live in the parking lot. One luxury car after another dazzled her. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was a car show. Her Mercedes-Benz C260 seemed a little insignificant. But this is not a car show, but those big guys just parked here casually. And now, it is already late at night, Li Xiaoqian has booked a room and will stay here tonight. While it is still early, Li Xiaoqian came to the lake again and took pictures of the night view of the ancient town. The night view is beautiful, with colorful and beautiful lights everywhere, many people, and a strong charm. On the lake, a number of cruise ships came from the island in the middle of the lake, and figures walked down from the boats. Those big guys who attended the auction on the island came back one after another. On the shore, there was not only Li Xiaoqian, the anchor, but also some reporters and media people carrying cameras. These people came for these big guys. On weekdays, these big guys rarely show up, but today is a great opportunity. This is hot news. First I took pictures of the cars, now it's time to take pictures of people. Dear friends, I'm on the lakeside of Kailan Ancient City now. Did you see those luxury cars just now? They are all the big guys, and those big guys are on the island in the middle of the lake. I don't know what is being auctioned there. It's a pity that we are not allowed to go up. Look, there are boats coming back, they should be back. See if there are any people you know. Li Xiaoqian took a mobile phone and took pictures of herself, and then turned the camera around and took pictures of the figures who were walking down from the boat. Just keep filming, anchor. I know everything about China. There is nothing I don't know about China and no one I don't know. The above person is awesome. I know these people too, but they don't know me. I know that guy. He is the CEO of Liuyang Group and the guy who sells soy milk machines. It's really the CEO of Liuyang Group. Turn the camera over a little. It's him, Yefan. In Xiaoqian's live broadcast room, netizens kept leaving messages. Following Xiaoqian's camera, A middle-aged man with a big belly and wearing a suit walked down. He is the chairman of Liu Yang Group. His name is Yefan, which sounds more like the protagonist than Li Hao. What's the chairman of Liu Yang Group? Look behind. That's Donglei from Gila Group. The one who sells air conditioners. Look, there's also a big guy from the army, that's Longs Heiming, the military envoy of our Southwest Garrison Army. Figures came down from the boat and were photographed by Li Xiaoqian. In Xiaoqian's live broadcast room, the fans looked at these figures one by one, and their shock could be seen from the comments. Of course, many big guys frowned when they saw themselves being photographed by these internet celebrities. Some people didn't care, but some people shouted angrily. "What are you filming? Get out of here. No filming, can you film our boss casually? Are you looking for death? Put your men down. You internet celebrities, do you have nothing to do? Believe it or not, the platform will block you." These big guys didn't need to say anything, their followers had already started to stop them. Can big guys film casually? Even Li Xiaoqian was shocked, and quickly turned the camera around, and then said to the water friends in the live broadcast room, "Dear friends, you can't film these people, you can't afford to offend them." In the live broadcast room, those water friends didn't buy it. Don't be a coward, anchor. Can't the boss's face be shown to others? Go ahead and film, I'll take responsibility if there is any problem. You take responsibility? Who are you? The funny netizens are really happy. Li Xiaoqian was speechless, but couldn't help but quietly turn the camera over. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 127. On the boat, another proud young man came down, accompanied by some of his subordinates. As Zhou Junja walked, he was arranging some things for the men beside him. Keep an eye on that guy. If that guy wants to leave the ancient city, report it to me immediately. Zhou Junja said to the men beside him. Yes, Mr. Zhou. That guy can't run away. The subordinate next to him named who immediately replied that he naturally knew who Mr. Zhou was talking about. It was Long Sheng of the Long Sheng Group who had auctioned the Foundation Establishment Pill. Since Long Sheng had obtained the Foundation Building Pill, Zhou Junja would not let him go. But in this ancient city, there are too many people and there are also the ancient city law enforcement teams, so it is difficult to take action. Therefore, Zhou Junja arranged for his men to keep an eye on Long Sheng. As soon as Long Sheng was about to leave the ancient city of Kailan, they would take action as soon as possible. Where is Master Sanyang? Why haven't you come here yet? Zhou Junja asked again. Have no idea. Who said again. Zhou Junja's expression suddenly darkened. If Master Sanyang could take action, it would be absolutely foolproof, but this Master Sanyang did not follow him all the time, which made Zhou Junja feel a little dissatisfied. But the other party was a monk, so Zhou Junja couldn't say much. Snort. Zhou Junja snorted coldly, feeling a little depressed. But at this moment, Zhou Junja looked to the side, but was startled again. There were actually people filming him. Are you looking for death? How dare you take pictures? Zhou Junja's eyes suddenly flashed with fierceness and he said sternly. But Zhou Junja's angry voice blurted out directly, but the next moment, Zhou Junja was startled again. Zhou Junja saw that the person who was secretly taking pictures of him with his mobile phone was actually a beautiful girl. She seemed to be an internet celebrity anchor. The anchor was quite beautiful, with a tall figure and curvy features, and her face was also somewhat delicate. Stains. Especially those long legs, round and straight. At first glance, she is a chick, even more beautiful than the women I had sex with in the hotel before. Zhou Junja suddenly felt a burning sensation in his heart. Are you looking for death? How dare you take pictures of Mr. Zhou? Bring me the phone. You ate the gall of a leopard, right? Beside Zhou Junja, Erhu's subordinates heard Zhou Junja's words, and immediately looked at the female anchor in front of them fiercely, and immediately rushed forward to snatch the female anchor's mobile phone. Wait a moment. However, at this time, Zhou Junja stopped them again. Suddenly Erhu and his subordinates were a little confused. Zhou Junja looked at the female anchor again, with a charming smile on his face. You just photographed me, right? Zhou Junja asked coldly. Li Xiaoqian was also frightened at this moment. She didn't expect that her secret live broadcast would be discovered, and the other party's behavior made her pretty face become a little pale and dull. Even the live broadcast in her hand was still going on, and she forgot to turn it off. In Xiaoqian's live broadcast room, countless netizens also heard Zhou Junja's voice this time, and they kept scrolling angrily. Master Zhou? I'll beat your mother. What a loud tone. Xiaoqian is scared, I'll be there right away. But Li Xiaoqian had no intention of reading these netizens' comments. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Li Xiaoqian looked a little pale, a little scared, and said weakly. Haha. Is it okay to just say sorry? Zhou Junja sneered again. If you take the photo, I have to take responsibility. If you stay with me tonight, this matter will be forgotten. Zhou Junja looked at Li Xiaoqian, his eyes kept scanning Li Xiaoqian's body, and he said sharply again. Ah! After hearing Zhou Junja's words, Li Xiaoqian's pretty face became even paler. The other party actually asked her to stay with him for one night. How is this possible? How can this work? No. Li Xiaoqian said firmly and refused directly. Damn it, our Mr. Zhou has taken a liking to you. That's your blessing. Don't be so ungrateful. Young Master Zhou is right. Since you photographed our young Master Zhou, you must be responsible for young Master Zhou. Spend one night with young Master Zhou. Today, even if you can't do it, you have to do it. It's not up to you. Next to Zhou Junja, the subordinates also said angrily. Young Master Zhou, don't talk so much nonsense to her, just take her away. Erhu said again. Good. Zhou Junja said coldly. Immediately he said to the people around him. Everyone has seen it. This woman took a video of me. I will take her back to ask for an explanation. Although he said this, everyone knew what Zhou Junja wanted to explain this week. Is it obvious that you have a crush on the other person? It's just that I want the other person's body, it's just an excuse. Sima Zhao's heart is known to everyone on the road. But everyone did not dare to say anything and could only watch helplessly. Mainly because I can't afford to offend him, this is a member of Jinghua's Zhou family. Even the big guys who walked by ignored him. I'm afraid this female anchor is going to be miserable. What a bad luck, I just hit the muzzle of the gun. She's so pretty, no wonder young Master Zhou is attracted to her. Oh, what a pity. The people around couldn't help shaking their heads and sighing endlessly. Beauty, come with us. Zhou Junja's men, Erhu, took the other two and walked in front of Li Xiaoqian, his eyes full of coldness, and said directly. Then, he grabbed Li Xiaoqian directly, wanting to take Li Xiaoqian away directly. Ah! Li Xiaoqian screamed immediately, and was really scared by this scene. What are you doing? Don't touch me! Li Xiaoqian shouted loudly, and her arms were grabbed by the two opponents. She struggled, but her strength was no match for the other party, and she couldn't break free at all. That's it? Li Xiaoqian was taken by Zhou Junja's men to the hotel that Zhou Junja and his men had booked. The people around watched the scene with their eyes wide open, no one spoke, and no one helped. How ridiculous! Is there no law? In broad daylight, you dare to rob. Brothers, let's go. Let's go to the beautiful anchor. Gather at Kylan ancient town. In Ziokin's live broadcast room, countless netizens saw the scene and were very angry. Some people who were not far away even took action and wanted to help Li Xiaoqian. Let me go, let me go. Li Xiaoqian screamed and struggled constantly, fear spread in her heart, and there was even more despair. There were so many people, but no one stood up to help her. Desperate, powerless, and indignant. But at this moment, let her go. A voice suddenly resounded in the scene. Everyone saw that a handsome young man stood up and spoke. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 128. Everyone followed the sound and saw a handsome young man blocking the front. Unexpectedly, someone stood up. Is this a hero saving the beauty? Is this guy looking for death? That's a member of the Zhou family in Jinghua. I really admire his courage. There's something good to watch. Zhou Junja's expression changed slightly when he heard this voice. Isn't this the guy who was sitting with the Southwest Guards Army before? This guy should also have some background. But regardless of his background, can he compare to him? Zhou Junja frowned slightly, looked at this young man who was even more handsome than him, and said coldly again. Boy, what are you talking about? Do you know who I am? I advise you not to mind your own business. Zhou Junja's voice was filled with incomparable pride. At this time, Zhou Junja's men also looked at Li Hao coldly. Go away. How dare you even interfere with Mr. Zhou's affairs? Don't you want to live? The two tigers said sharply again. Is it you? Li Xiaoqian also raised her head at this moment and saw the young man standing in front of her, her eyes filled with shock. She recognized the young man in front of her. Wasn't he the same young man who appeared in her mind from time to time? The first time they met was at the entrance of the shopping mall. At that time, she was falsely accused by a middle-aged man driving a Maybach that he had ruined the car. It was Li Hao who showed up to help her out. The second time was on the Jiangbei Bridge. An abnormal situation occurred on the bus and it was about to fall off the bridge. It was he who showed up like a hero in his Aston Martin and forced the official car to stop at the cost of scrapping the sports car. And she live broadcast the entire process. Today is the third time we meet. When she was about to be forcibly taken away by Mr. Zhou with evil intentions, he actually appeared again at this critical moment. His appearance was like a ray of sunshine, giving rise to a ray of light in her desperate and dark heart. Hope. Li Xiaoqian saw a glimmer of hope. At this moment, Li Xiaoqian forgot that she was still in the other person's hands, but she felt a sense of peace of mind in her heart. Li Hao was also a little surprised. Surprisingly, I can meet this female anchor Li Xiaoqian here. It's fate. And Li Hao didn't expect that this would be the case. The other party was obviously attracted by Zhou Junja, and he was plotting against her body, and he did so unscrupulously in front of so many people. Regardless of whether Li Xiaoqian wanted to or not, he wanted to force Li Xiaoqian to kill her. Li Xiaoqian was taken away, while the people around her just watched, and no one dared to stand up. So arrogant? So lawless? Is this a member of the Jinghua Zhou family? He looked aloof, as if he didn't take anyone seriously. A gloomy look flashed across Li Hao's eyes, filled with a chill. Let her go. Li Hao said coldly again. After hearing Li Hao's words, Zhou Junja's expression suddenly changed again. Before he could speak, his men were already a little angry. Court death. Erhu said angrily to Li Hao again. After saying that, a powerful aura condensed from Erhu's body. This is the aura of a warrior, as if he is about to take action. I told you to let her go. But at this moment, Li Hao's voice spread faintly. His voice sounded neither happy nor angry, but everyone felt an inexplicable chill. Just when everyone was looking at Li Hao in surprise, wondering where this guy got his courage. The next moment, Li Hao walked up slowly. "Go on. Beat me up," Erhu said directly to the two people beside him. Immediately afterwards, everyone saw the three people taking action one after another, launching an astonishing offensive towards Li Hao. Three warriors. However, the next moment. Boom. Bang bang bang. Ah! Just when the three people's attack was about to fall on Li Hao, the three of them seemed to have hit a thick invisible force. They were instantly knocked back and screams were heard. Ft. 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 Three sounds of blood spurting suddenly sounded. As the three of them were knocked away, large mouthfuls of blood spurted out from their mouths. Bang. In the end, the three people fell to the ground in the distance in a miserable state. This scene, all of which happened in the blink of an eye, shocked the people around them. What's going on? Hiss. Three warriors just flew away like that. What happened? Dot. There were sounds of horror, and everyone's eyes were filled with disbelief. When their eyes fell on the young man, there were sounds of gasping for air. I only saw Li Hao, still standing there calmly, as if he had never made a move. Li Hao came directly to Li Xiaoqian and asked Li Xiaoqian. "Are you okay?" "Ah. I'm fine, I'm fine." Li Xiaoqian also stared blankly at the scene in front of her. When she heard Li Hao's question, she immediately reacted and said immediately. "Ouch, dizzy." However, just after she finished speaking, Li Xiaoqian felt a sense of weakness again, her head was a little dizzy, and she was about to faint. Li Hao reacted quickly and hugged Li Xiaoqian directly. "It's smooth to start with, feels good in the hand, and has a very nice and unique fragrance." "Well, thank you." Li Xiaoqian was just a little frightened, and after struggling for a while, she felt a little dizzy, but it was not a real faint. At this moment, she felt being held by Li Hao, and a blush suddenly appeared on Li Xiaoqian's pretty face. She felt Li Xiaoqian felt her head buzzing due to Hao's warm embrace and Li Hao's unique masculine aura. Her body became even weaker. This is the first time she has been held by a man. She has never been in love in her entire life, let alone being held by a man. Involuntarily, Li Xiaoqian's body became a little hot and had a strange reaction. When this scene fell into Zhou Junja's eyes, Zhou Junja's face became extremely ugly. "I didn't expect that you are also an innate warrior." Zhou Junja looked at Li Hao and said again, he was not sure, and he didn't see clearly just now, how the other party did it, but he could easily injure Erhu and others, he must be an innate warrior. As for the monks, Zhou Junja, I never thought about how someone so young could be a monk. He. However, Li Hao glanced at Zhou Junja lightly and laughed, haha. "I'll take her away. If you're not convinced, just come. I'll continue." Li Hao said to Zhou Junja calmly again. "Mad? How crazy?" There was a hint of arrogance in Li Hao's voice. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 129. So awesome. Is this guy also a congenital warrior? Crazy. So crazy. Does he even look down on the Zhou family? For a woman, he offended the Zhou family. How impulsive. When the people around heard Li Hao's words, they were shocked again and made surprised sounds. In front, Zhou Junja heard Li Hao's words and a sharp look flashed in his eyes. Very good. I'll remember this. Zhou Junja said bluntly, but he didn't do it again. Because he couldn't see through the other party, even if he took action, he was not sure that he could take the other party down. However, he remembered this matter. You dare to steal my woman? Wait and see, I will make you die without a complete corpse. Zhou Junja looked at Li Hao with resentment and swore in his heart. However, Li Hao didn't say anything more. He looked calm from beginning to end, and then he picked up Li Xiaoqian and left. He could have solved Zhou Junja at once, but Li Hao still didn't do it. Although Li Hao's current strength was not afraid of the Zhou family, Li Hao still didn't want to do things too radically. After all, Zhou Junja's identity was there. Moreover, Li Hao seemed to get some spiritual medicine through Sanyang Genren and this guy. Waste. Hurry up. Zhou Junja looked at Erhu and the other two who were still groaning in pain on the ground, and said sternly again, and then left here directly. Today, he was going to lose all his face. He remembered this matter, and if he had the chance in the future, he would make the other party pay the price for today's attack. But now, he had other more important things to do. Let's get the foundation building pill first. On the other side, Li Hao was walking in the ancient town with Li Xiaoqian in his arms. There were many people on the street, but Li Hao didn't care about the strange looks of these people. Li Xiaoqian was very light, and Li Hao's body had long been extraordinary, so holding Li Xiaoqian was not a problem at all. But Li Xiaoqian's pretty face was so red that she felt like she was about to lose face. She buried her pretty face in Li Hao's chest and said nothing. By the way, have you booked a hotel? Where is the hotel? Li Hao asked Li Xiaoqian in his arms. I booked it. It's in the Xinyu Hotel in Guhan. Li Xiaoqian was shocked again when she heard the words in her ear, and then she said immediately. Xinyu Hotel? Li Hao's perception was directly released, and he immediately felt the existence of this Xinyu Hotel. Li Hao could find it clearly without navigation, and then he directly carried Li Xiaoqian to Xinyu Hotel. Well, why don't you put me down? At this time, Li Xiaoqian said weakly again. She was much better, but she couldn't help being distracted when she was held by Li Hao. Are you okay? Li Hao asked. Yes, I'm fine. Li Xiaoqian nodded. So, Li Hao put Li Xiaoqian down. Although it was quite comfortable to hold her, she said that he couldn't hold her all the time. Li Hao, thank you. If it weren't for you, I might have been. Li Xiaoqian couldn't help but say to Li Hao again, very grateful. Ha ha ha, it's not the first time. What are you thanking me for? If you really want to thank me, how should you thank me? Li Hao laughed again when he heard Li Xiaoqian's words, and then looked at Li Xiaoqian with a smile, with a bit of a naughty feeling. Hearing Li Hao's words, Li Xiaoqian widened her eyes and looked at Li Hao in disbelief. That's what she said. What do you want? Li Xiaoqian looked at Li Hao again and said weakly. But as soon as she said it, Li Xiaoqian regretted it a little. What do you want? Looking at this guy like this, do you need to say it? Does he also want his body? What do you think? You know. Li Hao stared at Li Xiaoqian tightly and said, his eyes on Li Xiaoqian's body. Li Xiaoqian felt her body tightened, and she felt a little uncomfortable. Her pretty face flushed with shame, and even her ears were burning. You. Li Xiaoqian opened her pretty mouth and looked at Li Hao. Her chest kept rising and falling, which made Li Hao salivate. Li Xiaoqian was very conflicted and hesitant. This was her first time. But the guy in front of her helped her twice, and once he was so righteous to save the people in the car. And he seemed to be rich, had a supercar, and was so handsome. He was actually a perfect partner. Li Xiaoqian herself had to admit that she had actually fallen in love with him. But she had been feeling unwell for the past 2 days. No. Li Xiaoqian said firmly. At least, not for the next 2 days. Li Xiaoqian's weak voice came again. Ah. Li Hao's eyes lit up when he heard what Li Xiaoqian said. It's not okay for the next 2 days, so it will be okay after these 2 days? Is this, relatives are coming? Haha. I didn't say anything. Li Hao laughed again. Actually, he wanted to say that it didn't matter if the relatives came. He was a cultivator. He could just send a stream of spiritual power to drive the relatives away. You. Li Xiaoqian glared at Li Hao again, feeling ashamed and angry. Damn it! Li Xiaoqian stamped her feet in anger. This guy did it on purpose. Let's go, I'll take you back to the hotel. Li Hao smiled again. This girl looked cute when she was angry, and then walked straight ahead. Li Xiaoqian saw Li Hao behind her, and a bright smile appeared on her face, and then she followed him directly, came to Li Hao's side, and walked side by side. By the way, Li Hao, why are you in this ancient town? Li Xiaoqian couldn't help asking Li Hao again, a little curious. Come to participate in an auction. Li Hao said directly. You actually went in. I have never participated in an auction before. How is this auction? Good, right? Li Xiaoqian was shocked again when she heard Li Hao's words, and then asked. It's just like that, all some antiques and the like, there are no good things. If there are next time, I will take you with me. Li Hao said jokingly. Really? That's great, I will be your exclusive anchor, and live broadcast together. Ah! By the way, live broadcast. Li Xiaoqian immediately let out a surprise, and said again, but before she finished speaking, she screamed again. Because she suddenly remembered something. She had been live streaming before, and it seemed that the live streaming had not been turned off. In other words, everything just now was live streamed. Were the words she and Li Hao had just said also live streamed? Li Xiaoqian quickly picked up her phone and looked at the screen. Host, please commit yourself to me. Not in the next 2 days, but in 2 days. Host, you are in love. Oh my, are we here to watch you two fall in love? I am full of dog food. Exclusive to the host. Sure enough, the live streaming was not turned off. Li Xiaoqian looked at the comments from netizens and felt like crying. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 130. Looking at the messages from these netizens in the live broadcast room, Li Xiaoqian felt bad. Her live broadcast was always on, and she had no time to turn it off in the scene that happened before. But just now, after being rescued by Li Hao, she forgot to turn it off again. Ever since, the whole process was broadcast live. What she just talked about with Li Hao was also heard by countless netizens. I'm so ashamed. Li Xiaoqian's whole pretty face turned red. What's wrong? Next to him, Li Hao's voice came. He noticed the strange look on Li Xiaoqian's face and asked in confusion. It's nothing, it's just that I was live broadcast before and wasn't locked up. Li Xiaoqian said weakly. Is the live broadcast turned off? When Li Hao heard this, he wanted to laugh. Li Hao looked at Li Xiaoqian's phone and saw countless messages from netizens. Ha ha ha. Li Hao couldn't help but laugh. Hello, all the netizens in Xiaoqian's live broadcast room, hello everyone. Li Hao directly faced Li Xiaoqian's mobile phone camera, showed his face and said hello. Ahem. This netizen is right? You should commit yourself to it. Do I have a girlfriend? I really don't have one. Dog food. Where did the dog come from? Why is my skin so good? Of course, I bathe with milk every day. Together. Li Hao looked at the messages from these netizens and said jokingly. Li Xiaoqian next to her was stunned when she saw this scene. Moreover, the number of people in the live broadcast room was still increasing rapidly, and the number of people online had actually reached 70,000. Because Li Xiaoqian saw that in her live broadcast room, the rockets and carnivals were flashing continuously, and the messages from netizens were rapidly filling the screen. As soon as this guy showed his face, this netizen kept sending gifts. He was more popular than himself. Li Xiaoqian. While live broadcasting, the two of them headed towards the hotel where Li Xiaoqian was staying. More than 10 minutes later, the two of them arrived at the hotel where Li Xiaoqian was staying. Should I leave first? Li Hao immediately said to Li Xiaoqian again. Why don't you go up and have a seat? When Li Xiaoqian heard Li Hao's words, she said to Li Hao in a strange way. As soon as she said these words, her whole pretty face turned red with embarrassment. Do it? Li Hao was suddenly stunned and looked at Li Xiaoqian in surprise. His eyes were fixed on Li Xiaoqian's body with a hint of weirdness. Is it so direct? How to do it? Okay. When Li Xiaoqian heard Li Hao's words and saw Li Hao's expression, she didn't know that Li Hao was thinking wrong. I didn't mean that. When I said sit down, I meant for you to sit up. Li Xiaoqian was immediately ashamed and angry. You are so evil. I will ignore you. Li Xiaoqian said to Li Hao again, gave Li Hao a roll of his eyes, and then went directly into the hotel. Hey, don't leave. Li Hao was speechless. He looked at Li Xiaoqian's back and said with a smile. Li Xiaoqian in front of him ran in quickly. Seeing this scene, another smile appeared on Li Hao's face. I had a chance to go in and sit down. Wasted by myself. Li Hao left and went back to his hotel. In the afternoon, Li Hao made a hotel reservation. He almost didn't get it at that time. Today, the hotels in Kailan Ancient Town are all full. Li Hao booked the Liuyan Suiya Boutique Hotel, which is a very famous hotel in Kailan Ancient Town. It is located on the edge of the lake, with a full view of the lake, which is very comfortable. And the other side. Li Xiaoqian had just finished taking a bath, and used a bathrobe to cover her perfect figure. Her hair was still a little wet, and she was live broadcasting. In front of the camera, Li Xiaoqian is still very beautiful even though she is wearing no makeup. And wearing a bathrobe, she looks a little more charming. The anchor is so beautiful. Xiaoqian, don't run away, wait for me, Ning Keichan. I am a poor Taoist in June, I want to eat you, this seductive female ghost. Brother is here, Xiaoqian, why don't you dance tonight? I have to say that Li Xiaoqian's popularity is still very high in her live broadcast room. On the screen, someone is still giving gifts from time to time. But at this moment, a connection request appeared on Xiaoqian's screen. Li Xiaoqian was shocked when she saw the other party's profile picture and name. It's this kid again, the MP kid. This is a big anchor with millions of fans, and he even linked to himself for the second time. Li Xiaoqian's heart suddenly felt excited. This is another good opportunity to increase fans. The last time I connected with Xiaogui, I gained a lot of fans, and the other party's current number of fans has reached more than 5 million. Li Xiaoqian directly agreed. On the opposite side of the screen were those three people again. Hello, little ghost brother. Li Xiaoqian said with a smile. Haha, Xiaoqian. Long time no see. Where are you? Where is the hotel? Are you alone? Or two of you? Xiaogui said immediately when he saw the background of Xiaoqian's live broadcast room. Brother Xiaogui, what are you talking about? Of course I'm alone. I don't have a boyfriend. Xiaoqian said again. At this time, many netizens are flooding the screen again. TCH. We have to commit ourselves to each other, but we don't have a boyfriend yet. What about the liar? The anchor's relative is here, alone. How do you know? There are even many water friends roaring in Xiaogui's live broadcast room. Haha, the kid was teased last time. He's not convinced. This is where he comes to regain his position. The GT brigade is here. Just do it, wearing a bathrobe and dancing with two little white rabbits. GT report. The kid PK directly. Netizens are very enthusiastic. Xiaogui looked at the scene and immediately said to Xiaoqian. That Xiaoqian, want to have some fun. This is a normal thing to do online PK. This is an opportunity to increase your popularity, and it is also an opportunity to make money. Why not do it? Okay. Xiaoqian is not afraid. Although she is likely to lose, as the anchor, this is the most interesting thing. Xiaoqian, it's the same as before. If you lose, you can jump on a train. If you win, I'll punish you as you wish. Xiaogui said to Xiaoqian again, there are several big brothers in his live broadcast room today. I don't believe that I can't win, and the guy from last time doesn't seem to be here. Can. Xiaoqian agreed. Then let's get started. Good. As a result, the two of them turned off their microphones and started canvassing for votes. So the sniper team is ready. Take off. Hold Xiaoqian. For a moment, gifts were flying everywhere in Xiaogui's live broadcast room. Popularity skyrocketed. Instantly gained more than 200,000 hits. As for Xiaoqian, although it is also rising, it is very slow. After all, the fan base is there. Just when the two were having a fierce PK. Liu Yin's boutique hotel. Li Hao was lying on the bed with nothing to do. He picked up his phone again and turned on Douyin. That girl, maybe she's still live broadcasting. Sure enough, as soon as Li Hao opened Douyin, a Douyin push came. The Xiaoqian you are following is currently live broadcasting. So, Li Hao clicked in directly. The next moment. Exit from Xiaoqian's live broadcast room. Heiran's righteousness is coming.